my Get Geeked Nation. Welcome to episode 50 of the Get Geeked Podcast. I know I've been gone for a while, 2 weeks to be exact. Life, people, life. Before I continue though, please, if you are new, if you're listening to this and you liked what you hear, or if you're just interested or you just want to join the conversation or whatever, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I could use all the help I can. I know I'm small. I know it's all beginner style, but please help me get up there. But yes, back to it. I've been gone for 2 weeks. Life, guys, life. For one thing, I'm working through this whole quarantine times. And my car decides to take a shit on me. So there goes my old car. But I spent the 2 weeks. Luckily, Mr. Trump gave us all $1,200. So that went in towards my new car, which is really not a brand new car. It's a used car, but it's better than my old car. So yeah, boom, I got a new car. So I'm back at it, still working. I'm part of that essential gang, so I got to be out there risking my health and well-being. But, you got to do what you got to do to make your money. Everyone's out there protesting, trying to get back to work while I'm already still just working. So that's that, right? Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this for this episode. I got a few things I want to talk about because I watched a couple of things, and one thing came out, I believe last week, a new song by before I go into that, the song that you guys heard, the song that you guys heard on the intro is a song from Lions Amongst Wolves. Now let me see if I could find the title. Here we go. Yeah, it's off of their EP Solace, and the song is called Descent. It's just a little snippet off of the beginning of the song Descent off of their album Solace. So if you guys dug what you heard and you liked what was playing, I guess, look it up. Lion Amongst Wolves. I believe it's on iTunes. You could find it on Spotify, stuff like that. It's all out there. Look for it. They're a bunch of great guys, good artists, good friends of mine. So hit them up, or just buy their music. Right? It's good stuff. They have some new stuff out there too, so check it out. But yeah, new song came out last week by one of my favorite bands, and it's starting to become more and more of my favorite band. They're a melodic, hardcore band called A Ghost Inside. And if you guys don't know anything about this band at all, they were doing well touring, and then all of a sudden, 5 years ago, after one of their shows, they got into a big accident. Their bus collided with an 18-wheeler. 2 people died, the driver of the bus and the driver of the 18-wheeler. The band also got injured. The drummer lost one of his leg. And the rest of the band were majorly injured. Took 5 years to rehab. And then 5 years after the accident, they did a comeback tour. They haven't made any new music yet until last week, where they dropped the song Aftermath. Now, let me explain why they're one of my favorite bands. If you go onto the catalog of metal, metalcore, hardcore, in the hardcore genre, there is positive hardcore, which if you're in the scene, you hear people say posy hardcore, which is cool. I like it too. I like posy hardcore as well, but sometimes you kind of want that metal feel, and when you go into metal, it's hard to find that posy hardcore feel in metal, or just a metal song with kind of a positive vibe and lyrics and just feeling to it. These guys, the Ghosts Inside, they fit that bill. They fill that empty circle that's missing from that part, right? All their songs, well, they first started when they first started, they were like for like kind of the black sheep, like, the ones that didn't fit in and stuff like that, and they were doing songs for people like that, or just songs about stuff like that, not more like for them, but just like about that, like just the ones that didn't fit in, and that was what made it cool. And then the more and more albums they had, a lot of it was just like triumphing over hardship and stuff like that. Like, they know how life is hard. Like, one of their songs, Mercy, is one of my favorite songs. There's just like one like a one piece lyric where they say like, life's swinging hard, but I'm swinging harder. And every time I listen to that song, I just wait for that piece, and I yell it out as loud as I can with it. But it just means a lot when you hear that, and just just gives you a great feeling inside, which, when you listen to other metal music, it's if you read the lyrics, a lot of it is just bleak and almost emo and kind of depressing at times, or just like, it's all about partying or whatnot, or normal metal stuff that doesn't, it just doesn't have that hold or feeling, or something that you want to like yell along with, you know what I'm saying? But A Ghost Inside kind of gives you that, and that's why they're one of my favorite bands, because when you listen to their songs, there's always a lyric, there's always a song, there's always a chant that you kind of just like, you gravitate to, and you kind of feel it and understand it. And you don't just like, you're not just like singing along with it for no reason. There's like a feeling that goes along with it, and that doesn't happen a lot with other metal or metalcore songs, which is like amazing. But now let's get into the song Aftermath. The drummer wrote the song before the accident, never finished it, and then after the accident, he kind of finishes it, and he didn't even realize like it would even mean anything, but like it happened organically because of what the accident was, and what the song was called. He actually named it Aftermath before even the aftermath, which is kind of crazy. It is an amazing song. Like, just to know the backstory of it, to know what the lyrics are kind of talking about, and then just the music itself, the two hard breakdowns in there. I believe there's only two hard breakdowns. I'm not sure. There might be three. And then the melodics and the switch of the melodics to the breakdowns to, and stuff like that. It's an amazing song. I dig it. And then just the meaning to it, and then the way the vocalist puts it out there, it hits hard. It hits hard, and it's just a sick, dope song, and I love it. And I hope they do more than just that one song. I can't wait for whatever new album they're planning on dropping. I'm pretty sure they're like kind of waiting this whole quarantine thing out before they even put out anything new, because I'm pretty, with a lot of bands, when they put out something new, they kind of want to tour with it right after. So, we might not hear anything until after this whole quarantine thing ends, but makes me excited to know that more stuff should be coming out, because they put out this new song. Because I was kind of like, I kind of just started getting into them maybe a couple years before the accident. So like, I was kind of getting into them and learning their catalog and their songs and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden the accident happened, and I got a little, kind of a little selfish of me, but I kind of got like bummed out, because I was like, oh man, like, no more, we don't know if they're going to be doing any more music. Cause like, for a lot of bands after a big accident like that, most of the times they would just hang it up. But it shows like how awesome and brave and strong these guys are, that they took that big accident and they drove straight through it and decided to go back at it. You know, they did a big comeback show, a couple of shows, I believe. I'm not sure how many. I know of one because they did it kind of near here where I live. I just heard about it too late, so I didn't even get to go. But I watched it online and it was awesome. I know a couple of friends that had went there, so they saw it and they said that was awesome. Yeah, so like, you know, kind of cool to hear that they're back at it and just doing it, and shows why I kind of like why I like the band. You know, to have that strength and to be singing songs about strength like that, it's what makes them shine above the rest. I don't know. It's like, I know what I want to say in my head about it, but it's hard to like verbalize it, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah. But yeah, that's one of the cool things that came out last week, and I kind of wanted to talk about it. I posted up on my Facebook, and, you know, only a couple people kind of like clicked on it, but like, it's an amazing song. If you guys haven't heard it yet, it's called Aftermath. The band is called A Ghost Inside. Go check it out. Straight 10 out of 10. Learn the history. Read about what happened. Read about, or even you can even just watch it. It's on YouTube because they document the struggles of the drummer after the accident, learning how to play having to learn how to play drums, or connecting. I think it was like his dad, and then some company, I forget what the name of the company is, helped him build a contraption to where he fits it onto, because the stub of his leg, because part of his leg is missing, but they it connects to the stub of his leg, and it helps him play the bass drum the way he would play it, you know, when he had legs. And then so they built him that contraption, and then he had to learn how to play the drums again with the contraption, which is nutty and crazy and, you know, inspirational, like all the above. So, you know, go watch that video. Go watch the story behind it. Go read about what happened. Listen to all their catalogs. Even a dying, before they became A Ghost Inside, they were called A Dying Dream. Those albums are kind of okay, so check that out and just see how they progress from A Dying Dream to A Ghost Inside. Because once they started doing A Ghost Inside and then doing those albums, like almost every album that is from A Ghost Inside is good from front to back. Like, I don't know, but that's just me, because that's kind of the type of music I'm into. You know, kind of that metalcore sound, but with that posy hardcore feeling. You know, that's what I was kind of searching for, and it's kind of hard because I've tried to find other bands like that had a metalcore sound but has that posy hardcore feeling, and it's hard to find a band like that. Yeah, because you either find that posy hardcore band with the posy hardcore sound, but you don't get that metalcore sound and feel, you know. But when Ghost Inside takes both of those and meshes it in together like perfectly, and yeah, done so great and so well. Well, I kind of went on too long about that, but Ghost Inside, Aftermath, check it out. Check out all their albums. Even go check out Dying Dream. It's good stuff if you're into metal and hardcore and stuff like that. Now, because I didn't really, you know, not really that I got bored, but let's get into a Netflix show, and the next two are Netflix shows. But let's talk about this one first, because the first time I heard it or heard about it was off of Ari Shafir's podcast. Gosh, I forgot what his podcast name was, or the name of the podcast was. But first time I heard about it was on there because he was talking to Duncan Trussell, who is kind of the creator. But we'll get into all that. So I'll just call him the creator for right now. But talking to Duncan Trussell, who is the creator of this show, and it got me interested. And then I saw Joe Rogan's podcast where he was interviewing Duncan Trussell, and they talked about it a little bit more. The show I'm talking about is The Midnight Gospel, and I believe if you go back to one of our episodes way kind of in the beginning, I believe Alex was talking about it too one time. He brought it up, but this was way before it was actually put out on Netflix or released, basically. You know, it was kind of just rumored, not rumored, but announced, basically, I guess, and Alex was talking about it. But I watched all the episodes. Now, this is a trippy show. Let's just start off with that. Now, if you don't know who Duncan Trussell is, he is a comedian. He also has his own podcast. Let's start like that. And what he did was he joined up with Pendleton Ward, who is the animator. I'm not sure if he's the animator, but the creator of Adventure Time. And they have like their own like animation studio. And what they did was take Duncan Trussell's podcast and basically animated his podcast. When you think about it, it's kind of weird. But so what the show really is kind of like a storyline, a through storyline, but using snippets of episodes of Duncan Trussell's podcast. And not just that, but they do it in like this weird and crazy psychedelic animation style of Pendleton Ward. And I mean, even if you go check out an episode of Adventure Time, any episode of Adventure Time, and you'll already realize the mind of Pendleton Ward is kind of nutty and crazy. And they don't ever say that any of their creations are drug related in any ways. But if you even seen an episode of Adventure Time, or if you even watched an episode of Midnight Gospel, there is just no way that it's not. But they say that it's not, but believe them or not, I tend to not believe them when they say that, but yeah, it's a pretty nutty, style show. When I started watching it, I didn't know if I liked it or not, but towards the middle, I got into it more. I know that I like the animation. Well, okay, here's what I had trouble with paying attention to the way it was animated, and then the story that they're telling, and then the conversation that they were having. It was kind of clashing little ways. To say if that was a bad thing, I can't. It's just something that's hard to do at certain points when a lot of things are happening in the background of the animation, and then you're kind of trying to have to concentrate on the conversation that they're having, because that kind of gives you kind of a bit of a storyline. But it was almost like a sensory overload almost. But if you were able to surpass that, because by the end of the show, I loved it. Like, I loved the show. I loved that last episode. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you get to the last episode, for me, I totally loved it. It was an awesome episode. It wrapped up the show very well. And yeah, so, I want to say, like, I'm the type that kind of likes that kind of whole psychedelic, that whole psychedelic style animation. Let me see what's happening with my computer. I can't stop it from doing this stuff. It's just making noise. Sorry, guys. Let me try to. Let me see if I could just stop it from making all these noises for a little bit before I get back into my thought. Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure it out right now. Well, but yeah, back to it. So like I'm the type that's into all these I'm into all the psychedelic style of animation, and that's not even what that's not even really like what I had a problem with. Oh, it's not really even a problem, but yeah, it was just certain parts where it was just hard to follow because the things in the background was just a bit too crazy for what was being kind of told. The conversation that was happening, it was just hard to follow because of what's happening within the animation. But other than that, the conversations were awesome and tight and amazing and interesting. It was like kind of like up there in the smart realm. And yeah, it's very good. Like I didn't know what to think about it in the beginning, but at the end of it, like I said, it's that last episode kind of touched me, brought me to like watery eyes in a bit, you know, like I didn't go full on cry mode, but it watered my eyes a little bit because of what that last episode was. And it meant a lot because yeah, like let me see if I could say it in a way to where I don't spoil anything, but you know, like it's about life, I guess, and life and just living within the moment, and it kind of gives you that message in a way. It's a very heartfelt message with a lot of like crazy psychedelic imagery. It's kind of like you're going through an LSD trip and just finding out the meaning of life through an animation style show done through animation of a podcast. If that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, try to watch the show and then you'll find out what I'm trying to say or what I'm describing basically. But yeah, interesting show, awesome idea, very intelligent, and I loved everything about it basically, you know? So for me, if I'm going to rate a show, this Midnight Gospel, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Almost perfect. I docked down 2 points just because of, you know, the parts where the animation didn't fit the storyline in a ways, or it was just too much happening in the background for me to follow the story. But other than that, it was almost perfect. So 8 out of 10. I suggest go watch it if you're into Pendleton Ward's style animation, if you're a fan of Duncan Trussell, if you're a fan of like smart conversation, watch it. It's interesting. It's just, if you're into psychedelic style animation, watch it. It's, yeah, I strongly suggest watching it. It's really, really an amazing show. Pretty up there in styles of animation for me. It's like a simplistic style of animation, but done very, very psychedelic wise. So amazing and kind of awesome. And that's that for that. So yeah, let's move on to the other show that I had watched over the 2 weeks that I've been gone. Now, Henry Cavill, for some weird reason, I had this kind of bad aftertaste of Henry Cavill because of Batman versus Superman. Um, but, and that's probably why I didn't watch The Witcher when it first came out. So I'm kind of late to the game on this. I know I am, because The Witcher came out like a while ago, like last summer or something like that. I forgot when, but it came out a while back. But I didn't watch it because I was so disappointed at Batman v Superman and the way Henry Cavill played Superman. I was just like, I don't know if I want to give this guy another chance. But because I had nothing else going on, and I was like, you know what, I need something to watch. Decided to watch The Witcher, and I was pleasantly surprised on how good The Witcher was. I mean, only because, like, I'm into that type of style of shows. Like, I'm into magic and witches and sorcery and monsters and, all that stuff, kind of like medieval fighting style and scenes and stuff like that. Like, I'm into it. So, I don't know why I waited so long to give it a try, but as soon as I saw it, as soon as the first episode was done, I was like, boom, might as well just go all 8 episodes in one day or one night. And I did it, all 8 episodes, and that's really all there is. They leave it in a place where they could add more if they want. They don't have to, but I hope they did. I hope that they do, because the story doesn't feel like it's done yet. It's totally not done yet. So I kind of want to see what happens, and I hope they do another season. I haven't really heard of them okaying or greenlighting a second season yet, so I'm not sure. But it leaves me at a spot where I want more, and I hope that they're making more, and I hope that we do get more. But yeah, amazing show. What can I say about it? It's everything like a nerd like me would want in a show. You have your monster hunter, which is the Witcher, which is played by Henry Cavill. I don't like, they say his name so differently throughout the whole show that I don't know if it's Gerald or like it's said in so many different ways through the show that I don't know which one is the correct one. But I think it's like Geralt. Amazing character. Henry Cavill plays that character so like so cool, like, because he's just like straight on, like, no feelings. I'm here just to kill the monster and everything like that, but honorable and stuff like that. With the power set that he has, he's kind of built to be like, with magic, to be this like very powerful human being, but people don't see him as a human. They see him as like a mutant, because basically he's like an X-Men before the X-Men were X-Men's. If you really want to think about it like that. And in a ways, that's kind of perfectly, it's kind of perfectly what describes what he is. He's basically a mutant. He's an X-Men before X-Men's were X-Men's, a super powered human being, which is what he was, because they kind of created him to be that. From what I got within the story, like, they took a bunch of children and did these experiments on them, and then he was one of the ones that survived the experiments, because I believe they said that a couple of them did not survive it. And then there's like a guild of witches, kind of done the same way too. They go around stealing, or not even stealing, but buying, or some of them weren't even bought. Like, some of them were kind of like, some of them paid to be in the guild, but they had to go through trials and tests to see if they were powerful enough to become part of the Brotherhood of Witches. And if you didn't, you were turned into an eel and basically put in this pond within the castle to kind of live the rest of your life, which is kind of crazy, like, crazy stuff. And then the storyline follows Geralt, and then also follows one of the witches, Yennefer, and then also follows a princess named Ciri. The only problem I have with the show is the separate timelines. because when you're watching scenes with Geralt in it, it's in a different timeline, and then when you're watching it, scenes of Yennefer, it's on a different timeline, and as well as scenes with Ciri. But then at a certain point, the timeline kind of collides, and then they catch up together. I didn't realize that in the beginning, so it was kind of hard for me to follow. But once I figured it out, then it was fine. But other than that, everything else was just like pretty on point. Like they gave me like monsters. I could have used more of monsters, but you know what? If they do a second season, that's fine. Bring on some more monsters, please. But I think it was could have used a little bit more monsters, but it was enough. It was enough to fill in what I needed. They had more than enough magic to go around, and more than enough fight scenes to go around. Like, it's pretty top notch. Didn't disappoint at all. And like I said, like the only reason why I was scared was just because Henry Cavill and his performance in Batman v Superman, and in Justice League, it was just so disappointing. Like, I didn't want to be disappointed again, but I guess I should have just not. I guess it kind of sucks for me because I could have seen this show already like a long time ago, but yeah, I shouldn't have knocked it until I saw it. So kind of bad on my part for not watching it earlier, but The Witcher, awesome, amazing show. I mean, I should have watched it from earlier. I want to give this show. I'm gonna give this show like an 8.5 out of 10. I would say a little bit higher than Midnight Gospel, just because it was kind of easier to follow, even though there was like the whole timeline thing. But it was just that the whole timeline thing wasn't too hard to catch on to. I kind of figured out quicker. And then the storylines was just it was like, easy to get into and grasp onto. I love all the magic. I love all the monsters. I love all the lore. I didn't really like the way they ended it. I wish they would kind of give you a more complete ending, but I kind of see why they did it. They're kind of trying to do the whole, if you want more, wait till season 2. The only thing is that we don't know if we're going to get a season 2. So, I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that they do a season 2 of Witcher, which will be amazing if they do, and I can't wait for that. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. If you guys are into that whole thing, if you guys were into Game of Thrones, and stuff like that, this show is pretty good. So if you want something to watch, I would suggest watching The Witcher. Pretty awesome, great magic, sorcery, monster fighting show. On Netflix once again. And with that, pretty short episode, I guess. 30 minutes, I mean, once again, it is just only me nowadays. I'm going to try to get a guest soon. I'm trying to figure out how to do this whole Zoom thing to where I could get, 2 people on here at once. And then I'm going to try to get kind of a guest on. So hopefully I could pull that off pretty soon. I guess I'm putting out a call out to maybe the Bearded Man, Jessica. I know I've asked you before if you're still down to do it, please hit me up. And then that's really all I have to say for this week. Those are kind of the 3 main things I really, really wanted to talk about. Not much else other than that. I gave you the update of why I was gone for the whole 2 weeks. I'm sorry for that, guys. I'm going to try to keep on the schedule. A little update on the whole Pokemon Go Battle League. I didn't get to do any Master League on the season. I'm just going to give you guys an update now. I did very horribly. I did reach rank 8. And then once I reached ranked 8, I started losing a bunch of battles. and I went down in rankings. Like, not, you don't really go down in rankings, but you go down in points, and I went above 2,000 to get to rank 8, but then now I'm like at 1,600, which is under rank 8. And I'm trying to build my way back up to 2,000, which is kind of hard. I might, to tell you the truth, I might not do a season 1 ending, or maybe, I don't know. We'll see if I have time, but most likely I won't. And then I'll probably start again doing season 2, because they're also planning on doing a kind of like a cup within Master League time, where you can't use mythicals or legendaries, which is kind of amazing, or kind of good for me, because I kind of already have a Master League team that doesn't have a mythical or legendary, which is kind of, gives me a heads up. So I can't wait for that. So I might just, not do any Master League or season 1 ending episodes for that, but I'll probably start again once season 2 starts up again. So that's update for Pokemon Go. Other than that, I think that's it, and we could probably end it there. A good 37 minutes of conversation, or just me talking about stuff. And like, let me see. Once again, I want to thank everyone who subscribed. I want to thank everybody who watched. If you guys are brand new, or if you guys know anyone who probably kind of, whatever, if you have suggestions, leave them in the comments. Let me know what I could do better. Also, hit that like, hit the subscribe. Please hit the subscribe, help a brother out. And I think that'll be it. With that said, much love, everybody. Stay safe out there. Don't let these crazy, weird times put you down. Don't be discouraged. Figure out a way to overcome and rise. Don't just sit down and do nothing. Do something with the free time that you have. Just do it safely and keep yourself healthy. And with that said, I thank you. I love you guys, and we'll see you guys all on the next episode. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you liked the video you guys just watched. And if you did, please do not hesitate to hit that like button and that subscribe button. And then tell a friend. And if you guys want to see more videos, check them out below. I should have 2 other videos to check out. We have other stuff to see on this channel. And with that said, we thank you guys all for watching. And we'll check you guys out laters.